For these past couple of days, a burning question has been on my mind. Who is the greatest boxer in video games? Today, we're going to answer that question. The way the ranking goes is retire, you got to quit. Undisputed is the best of the best. Let's get into it. Starting off very strong, we have Matt from Wii Sports Boxing. This guy is an absolute villain. Who remembers as a kid trying to beat this guy in the Wii? Everything's going well. You're knocking off bums. You're cleaning up the ring. And then all of a sudden, Matt comes along. For a little bit of lore, let me just explain to you guys who this guy is. Matt is from Queens. He is 58, and guess what? He is the only CPU to be a champion in multiple sports in Wii, because he's also a champion in that sword fighting game. He's a champ at that too. Despite the Wii limiting what we see of this menace, he is 6'3", weighing in at 242 pounds, making him a heavy weight. Matt holds a couple great feats, but his greatest ones being that his skill level is around 16,000. It might vary from different people playing the game, but it's about 15k to 16k. He's the only CPU to have that status. He is also a champion, but his biggest feat is his ability to defeat the player. The player is able to knock out everybody, but will struggle against the Matt. Now, if you lose to other people, just say you're bad, my boy, because that ain't happening to me, I'll tell you that. But Matt is able to defeat the player. Those are his two biggest feats. And also, he is a boxing coach, but we're not going to count that as a feat, are we? Now, when you think about boxers in gaming history, you cannot miss Matt. Matt is somebody that has been engraved into our minds because he was such a hard boss to defeat. He would have to be champ material. Now, I will say that instead of putting him on undisputed, is because although he is hard, he is beatable. It is definitely a challenging boss fight. We all had our struggles with it. There is honestly nostalgia when it comes to this, and I don't want to be too biased. And we struggled. But if we went back on it now, I do think we'll be able to beat him. I know I would be, as I actually played it recently. Balrog. Now, the funny thing about Balrog is I have always struggled to play as him way back to when I was a little boy playing Hyper Street Fighter 2. I always struggled, and back then I thought this guy was incredibly basic. Now, for a little bit of lore, he actually is based on Mike Tyson, if you have not noticed already. And originally, he was going to be called M. Bison. And the name, anyway, that's kind of long to get into with the Japanese names and the USA names, but essentially they had to change it, and M. Bison was going to be called Vega. And anyway, that's all long to get into. That's not really too important. But our boy Balrog, all this guy cares about is money and women, okay? But he is devastating in the ring. This guy is an absolute beast, and he also becomes M. Bison's bodyguard. And in Street Fighter 2, if you defeat M. Bison at the end, in the canon ending, he does take over Shadow Liu, but it is short-lived. Our friend Balrog here is way bigger than Matt. He's 6'6", 292 pounds. That would make him a heavyweight. Of course, it's a bit above, but we're going to have to put him in a weight class. His biggest feat is that he one-punched the elephant and it died. That is pretty impressive. Now, disregarding all the other people that have beat him, and he technically could one-punch a couple of the people that beat him, like Viper, for instance. It's fine. We don't need to think about all of that. As I said before, he's essentially like Mike Tyson, and he isn't afraid to fight dirty. As we know, he likes to grab people and whoosh, whoosh, headbutt. Getting down and dirty, that's one of the dirtiest things you can do in boxing. That is not nice for the brain. Now, this might be a bit controversial, but I'm going to be putting Balrog in contender. Now, you might be thinking, I put Matt a step above him. Nigga, his power level is not 16,000. He ain't got nothing on that. I don't care what your strongest feat is. Next, please. While making the list of the people I wanted to rank, I could not ignore Little Mac. He is arguably the most recognizable boxer on here. He is extremely famous. Now, I was introduced to him on Smash Bros, of course. I've not played any of the Punch-Out games. I'm sorry, but, you know, after today, I might want to. Anyway, this guy has always been the underdog. He's incredibly small. He's about 4'8", 107 pounds, making him lightweight. If some of you didn't know, he actually got nerfed by the game itself. The only reason he is so small is because in the Punch-Out universe, he is an underdog. He normally fights opponents way heavier, way taller than him. So he is so small so we can see the opponent, so it's easier. And that is why also there are instances where he is like a green grid. I think in the original he was like that, so you could see through your opponent, or see through, I guess, your character to see the opponent. So maybe he would have been taller. But anyway, in terms of some feats of his, he is able to turn into Gigamac. This guy is giant. Like I said before, I know it from Smash Bros. He needs to have that Giga energy. I believe it is from getting hit. Feel free to correct me. I don't know a ton about Little Mac. I only know a little. But I also know, of course, that he is a champion in his own right. He is a champ. And what can I say? That is pretty important to be a great boxer. Now, when ranking Little Mac, I'm actually going to put him on contender. I'm going to put him on champ material above Matt, respectively. Steve Fox. Now, this guy might be my favorite guy on this list. This guy is very underrated. I was introduced to him in a beautiful game I hold special to my heart, Tekken 4. Alongside an amazing soundtrack, this game is unbelievable. And they introduced our boy, Steve Fox. Now, later on down the line, although this guy is a world-class boxer, getting belts in multiple weight classes, he sadly was a lab rat. He is in the labs, the Mishima labs, and he is actually enhanced. So he is genetically stronger and faster than most humans anyway. But he did not know this. But that does not take away from how great this guy is. He can fight with multiple guards and stances. He knows how to do the Hitman style. He knows how to do the peekaboo style. This guy is a very well-rounded boxer, more than well-rounded. He's amazing. He's got it all. He's got the footwork, combinations, everything, the power. Steve's tough. And I'm not gonna lie, this guy's British as well. And I think that deserves to be pretty high up there. For his height, he's 5'11". He's weighing in about 161 pounds, making him welterweight. He is a very, very dangerous man that you do not want to mess with. I could honestly speak about this guy for so long. I love Steve. And I will always try and get good with him. And in Tekken 7, I felt like the man when I was playing with Steve. Steve is too good. And let me just give you guys a little sound effects of just Tekken in general. Tekken is such a great game. I don't know where I'd rank that. I think my favorite fighting game of all time is Street Fighter. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I do think it's amazing. You know, I love Mortal Kombat, but Tekken, Street Fighter, something about them. Listen, I go through my phases because then again, I'll be in my Mortal Kombat phase. And I actually don't even have Tekken 8 yet. But I have Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat 11. Let's not stray too far. We know where we're putting this guy. We know because this guy's dangerous. Anybody on here, I think he's cleaning them up. I'm not going to lie. He's cleaning up a lot of people on this list. And I do believe, and I will stand by, Steve is undisputed. This guy is the GOAT. I will always love Steve. I love this guy. Steve is the only character on here that had me outside shoe shining quickly. He is so quick. He's so clean. Oh, I love this guy. I love this guy. He's literally making me blush. I'm not going to lie. And, man, I don't know. I feel like if I was reincarnated as a TJ combo, now he is from a game called Killer Instinct. I do not know a lot about this. I'm sorry. I do have a basic understanding. I used to see these games in a couple movies and it didn't even look real. It still doesn't look real to me. I've never ever played it. I would love to though. It looks cool. Now, TJ Combo, for those of you that do not know, he is of course a boxer, a heavyweight boxer that was a champion. However, he lost his belt because they found out that he had illegal enhancements. I think they were cybernetic. And because of this, he lost his belt, but then he worked his way up. Natty, he didn't eat any eggs, all right? You know, little Conor Ben joke there. Yeah, anyway, he didn't eat, he stayed away from the eggs. He came back completely natural, completely natty. He came back and he won the belt. And he did it twice, essentially. In terms of height, he is 6'1". He's weighing in about 220 pounds, making our boy, like I said before, heavyweight. This one is very quickly, but he seems to be dangerous. I've seen them ultra combo videos. I've seen how he's wrestling people up and he ain't afraid to throw in some knees in there. I like that, get a little bit dirty. However, you know, I'm not sure if I wanted to have a rule where people could use illegal moves, but they can because Steve, he likes to step on toes. Bora with the headbutts. Matt, he's just a demon. Like, you know what I mean? So I think I will just count it because I was so close to not actually putting him on the list for some reason. But I did, in fact. Because of my knowledge, and I could actually be wrong here, guys, I'm going to put him on contender. Will I put him above Balrog, though? Here's the thing, guys. Nah, he ain't going above Balrog. I'll put him beneath here for now. And we'll come back to it later if we need to. Now, another one of my favorites on here, someone I do know well. Don't worry, there's only a couple people that I don't really know well that I can't really yap about for too long. Andre Bishop. Where do I begin? He is from the game Fight Night Champion, arguably the best boxing game of all time. Don't even try it. There is no other game, I think, that beats Fight Night Champion. They have not made another boxing game as good as Fight Night Champion. And surprisingly, this is an EA game as well. EA. So, where do I begin? Well, first off, this guy was wrongfully imprisoned when he was a boxing prospect, all right? He was working his way up. He had a bright future ahead of him. He gets put in prison. But guess what? He's bare knuckle boxing underground. He is messing guys up differently. I respect him. And this was before he was even heavyweight. Now, when he comes out of jail, he's starting to fight the journeyman. You know, he's working his way up there. And his brother decides to fight somebody called Isaac Frost. I wonder if he'll be on this list. His brother decides to be on it. And I'm not really sure because I'm trying to go for memory. I haven't played Fight Night in a while. But I'm pretty sure he kills his brother or he hospitalizes him, right? Andre Bishop's brother. So then now it's up to Andre Bishop to fight Isaac Frost. In terms of height, he is 6 foot. And he's about 218 pounds when he is heavyweight. He does fight lower, but we are just going off of the heavyweight Andre Bishop because that is the final one you get in the game. In terms of his best feats, I would say the only feat I could think of as being amazing, because he's just smashing up journeyman, especially in jail as well. Some of these guys, I mean, he just has to fight down and get down and dirty, but these guys ain't anything really special, right? But his biggest feat is that, come on, man, is being able to defeat Isaac Frost, handicapped. Bear in mind, no matter what difficulty you choose, you are going to be handicapped. You have to complete challenges. The only boss fight where you have to, actually not the only boss fight, there are boss fights where you have to do challenges, but for the whole match, you have to follow a certain rhythm that makes him way harder than he is. Bear in mind, you are playing against Isaac Frost, who we will get into soon. But with that being said, because of this, I am also putting Andre Bishop in undisputed. I'm putting him below Steve, but this man deserves it as he becomes champion, handicapped against a really tough opponent and one of the most infamous men on this list, and in video game boxing history. You may be thinking, what are you doing with this in your hand? This is Ippo Makunouchi from Hajime no Ippo. Now, if you didn't know, there is Hajime no Ippo boxing games, and the one I'm going to be talking about today is Victorious Boxers 2, the current game that I have. It is on the PlayStation 2. It is very hard to find and play. However, boy, it is a hidden gem. We're not going to go on too much, all right? And we can't really talk about the anime, but luckily it is the story from the anime. So yes, he does have the Dempsey role. Yes, it is the same Ippo. It's the exact same as the anime, making this guy incredibly tough. Now, in this story, it only gets up to when he becomes the champion of Japan, the featherweight champion, of course. And that is amazing in its own, as we know he has to take down our boy Sendo. Ippo is a beast. I love this guy so much. He's doing it for the short kings. He's doing it for the guys that got bullied. He's just doing it. He's just him, to be honest. For those of you that don't know, Ippo is 5'5", 126 pounds. He is, of course, featherweight. I could make another category for Ippo, but, you know, comparing these other people on the list, I don't know where I'd put Ippo. You know, I kind of want to put him on undisputed. I do, I really do, but I don't know. Am I giving it out too much? Am I being too generous? I would honestly put him at the top of champ status. I'm not gonna lie, he's at the top. I would put him in undisputed, but this isn't like the anime where we get to see him do all these great things and how far he gets. This is limited, right? This is not his strongest version, and this is only when he becomes champion. I'm not even sure if you get to defend any titles in the game, as I haven't completed myself. I haven't completed it yet, so I'm not sure. So I'm gonna have to put him at the top of champ material, not stats. What am I talking about? Our final character from the Punch-Out series is going to be Glass Joe. And yes, sadly, I do know of Glass Joe. This guy is the only guy on here that was able to rack up 100 losses. But don't take that for a joke, because he has the iron will and he was able to get a win. Now, it's not really specified, but people speculate that maybe he won from disqualification. Maybe the guy did something illegal to him and just maybe that's how he got his only win. But he is the weakest opponent in the Punch-Out series. And if you lose to him, Little Mac's coach, who I forgot his name, Doctor or whatever, he will tell you that, man, that is a skill in itself to lose to this bum. This guy is beyond a journeyman, all right? I don't know what to say about him. And, you know, I think I respect him in a way because he lost so many times. He is still going. You know, he's still going. So would I say to retire because he did win a match? Who knows, all right? He's quite light, all right? His height, 5'10". For his weight, he's about 110 pounds, which leaves him at fly weight. His biggest feat is that he's French. Listen, I don't know. I just don't know anymore, all right? He's retire. Buddy, you just need to give it a rest. I don't know how you're not punch drunk, all right? Get him out of here now. Most underrated person on this list is another fighter from Street Fighter. He goes by the name Dudley. Now, his latest appearance was in Street Fighter 4, and he hasn't appeared since. However, Dudley, you don't want to mess about. This guy is also British, okay? So, come on. Raises the bar a little bit. Come on. All right, he's also British. He has a few amazing moves under his arsenal. He has the corkscrew blow, which is when you fully rotate that fist, and it is a real-life technique, actually. And that just does the damage. And he also has Rolling Thunder, and he has Machine Gun Blow. Don't get me started with Dudley. I really enjoyed playing with Dudley on Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I think, was he on Street Fighter Cross Tekken 2? He was. And Street Fighter 4, of course, mashing guys up. And one of his specials, Roll Rip, the last hit. Dudley is insane. He is just such a suave boxer. He's so clean. Why is everything Dudley does so clean? I don't know. You tell me. Like I said, very underrated on this list. I don't know if he'll be able to defeat Balrog, you know. He has corkscrew blow, machine gun. Come on. He's got moves. But could he beat him? I don't know. I don't know too much about Dudley, actually, surprisingly. I don't really think he has a lot there. He probably does. There are probably people going down to the comments. Yeah, there's a lot to say about Dudley. Cool, there probably is. I don't know why I'm so uneducated if I know him so well. and I played as him. All I know is that he is a heavyweight champ, you know. He is a heavyweight, yes. He's weighing in at 160 pounds. He is about 5'9", I believe. So, yeah, that's that. If I had to put him on the list, like I said, with Balrog, Balrog might be able to beat him. I feel like Dudley's quicker. He definitely is quicker. And it'll be a tough fight, but Balrog is pretty strong, you know. He's heavier too. That does actually matter. It's not the be all and end all, but come on, the weight classes are there for a reason. He is in heavyweight too as well, but talking realistically, come on. I think Balrog beats him. I'm gonna have to put Dudley. This is tough. I'm gonna put him in contender above TJ Combo. Okay, no one's reached that journeyman yet. I don't know, maybe somebody will. But I'm gonna put him above TJ Combo. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put him in contender. Respect Dudley. Now, before making this video, I obviously had to do some research, of course. And I came across this game, Ready to Rumble. There's a guy in Ready to Rumble, all right? He is the most recognizable character from this game. Afro Thunder. Now, he is a showboater. I love myself a showboat, I'm not gonna lie. He showboats. He weighs about 130 pounds. He's 5'7". He is lightweight. Now, in terms of this guy, this is gonna be short because I actually don't know a lot about him. And I didn't even know that it was quite a big deal. But you know what? He seems cool, I'm not gonna lie. I do know that in the Ready to Rumble universe, he is the face of boxing. And his thunderclap attack is a charged attack that is an instant KO no matter who you hit. Now that is pretty dangerous. He's going at the bottom of contender. I just don't know enough about him. I don't know the lore. I don't know. Second to last, we have Roger from Tekken. The last character from Tekken, and I only had 2 people up here from Tekken. There's not really a lot of boxers. But he is a kangaroo that is enhanced from one of the Mishima labs, and he does eventually escape. Now, to be honest, I don't know a lot about him. I do know he's kind of a funny character. He's supposed to be just one of those goofy characters, kind of like Dan Hibiki from Street Fighter, but Dan plays a more important role. I can't really compare him to anyone, but he's just kind of one of those goofy guest characters that they have on their roster, and I just enjoy it. Roger is 6'3", and he's likely heavyweight. Likely because of how big he is, because his weight is never really confirmed anyway. I do know he competes in the Iron Fist tournament, but of course, he does not win. If I had to rate Roger, I would honestly say he's a journeyman. I think that you would be able to stop him. Now, real life kangaroos, I mean, they're dangerous. I've seen those videos. I'm not even going to go into detail. Right? I've seen some videos of them. Bolo kangaroos. Oh my goodness, they scare me. But, you know, I would like to say that everyone on this list should be able to defeat Roger. And although he uses kicks, although he gets a bit dirty, I think everyone can do their thing on Roger. I'm going to put him in journeyman. The final man on here, beast, monster on here, is coming like Voldemort. Don't say his name. A lot of you might shake. A lot of you might get PTSD when I talk about this man here. I can't make a list without talking about Isaac Frost. Now, this guy, hands down, is one of the most infamous boxing boss fights in the history of gaming, or boss fights in general. He is up there. The amount of people, grown men, grown boys, that cannot defeat this guy is insane. It is crazy, the amount of people that are unable to defeat him. Isaac Frost is the antagonist in the game Fight Night Champion, and oh boy is this guy a demon. He is 6'7", 260 pounds. He is a heavyweight. And when I tell you, this guy is so disrespectful. First of all, he hospitalizes Andre Bishop's brother. He hospitalizes him. He does it easy. It's light work for him. Not to mention, in this universe, he is actually undefeated, which is pretty easy when you are a god amongst bums. This guy is absolutely massive. He is massive, and a lot of you might even know him from one of the UFC games, which is crazy that you don't know him from Fight Night. But that doesn't matter anyway. This guy is beyond disrespectful. He is a showboat, and he acts like everything is easy. This guy has everything going for him. this guy has aura. Now, I'm not going to lie. I do actually think that this guy is not undisputed because the man who beat him is Andre Bishop. The only person to beat him in his career is Andre Bishop, and he was handicapped by the game. As the player, when you're playing as Andre Bishop, I slightly mentioned it, you have to do all these little tasks to beat Isaac Frost. Now, Isaac Frost is an amazing power puncher. He has destructive power, and he is destroying pretty much anyone in that game universe, except for Andre Bishop. But the simple fact is, he is not as skillful as Andre Bishop. Andre Bishop had a cut that he had to protect in the fight. He also had to go to Isaac Frost's body. Yeah, again, I haven't played the boss fight in a while. I actually beat it. If you haven't beat it, imagine not beating it now. You surely have to beat it now. Maybe lower the difficulty. I think I beat it on hard. I didn't even have it on the hardest difficulty. I won't lie though. I went through some trials and tribulations to beat that man there. That guy, do you know how many controllers this guy has been responsible for breaking? TV screens. I mean, up till now, this guy is a very good villain, a very compelling villain, because a good villain, a good boss fight is when you want to absolutely destroy them. I'm making this video, I was thinking, should I make a whole, tier for Isaac Frost? But I didn't end up doing it. I'm going to put him at the top of champ material. Like I keep saying, Andre Bishop, like, you would think, oh, he's undisputed and he's a villain and this and that. And okay, cool. Yeah, he is. He is pretty talented. He's pretty strong. But come on, Andre Bishop beat him. He's handicapped by the game. And although he is a very hard opponent, he is beatable, just like Matt was beatable. I've beat him. And I'm not the best at Fight Night. And I didn't even have it for that long. And I played it a couple years back. I didn't have this game for that long. I bought a PS3 and I started playing the PS3 games and I just started collecting them. And that was like literally 2 years ago, if that. So that's when I actually started playing Fight Night and I beat him, And it didn't even take me that long. It was frustrating, it was annoying, but, I had a good try, 20, 30 tries. Anyway, with that being said, he is going to be at the top of champ material. Okay, that is the end. Oh boy, I don't think I've been in front of the camera for this long, It feels good, but I feel like I could just linger and go off topic and just talk and talk and talk. So let me know down in the comments below if I maybe put someone in the wrong place, if I'm missing anybody, or do I think these are all the famous people. I even put some underrated people on here for those who know. There have been people that were cut, but I did my best. And let me know what you guys think. Anyway, I hope you guys have a beautiful day because I know I am. And I'm going to see you tomorrow, all right?